Hello. We continue the saga of Eurovision 2020, even if the concert itself is canceled, the competition, again, sad face. But I had wanted to cover this song, whether, the contest was happening or not. Jeangu Macrooy, the representative for the host country, which we assume will be the host in 2021 in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. The Dutch artist Jeangu Macrooy, as I said, he, I believe, is of Suriname descent, from the country of Suriname. So again, really interesting immigrant, adding diversity to this contest. Oh my goodness, this again just it pains me so much to see, this song go to waste because it appears that it will be the case if since my last video was uploaded, the Eurovision committee has announced that they will extend the invitation or the offer for all the broadcasters to choose what they want to do with the artists, whether they want to send them again in 2021. And unfortunately, that decision is being left up to the broadcasters, which I don't think is going to serve certain countries well, particularly certain artists like the Mamas. I've talked about that. That's a whole thing. I hope there's a lot of pressure for either the competitors in Melfest or the organizers of Melfest to work something out so that the Mamas have a chance to still go to Rotterdam next year. I don't know. If the artists participating have any integrity, then they would all want to bow out for the Mamas. I would hope that that would be the pressure we would see. Because the last thing I want to see is, Sweden send another Bruno Mars knockoff next year when we had the chance to send three amazing women of color to send something a little different for a change for Eurovision and for Sweden. And then, anyway, I'm not talking about Sweden, though. I'm talking about the Netherlands. The host country, there's a huge, huge expectation on the host country with the song. There's usually a lot of the songs don't usually do very well for their host countries. Think of Portugal in 2018. That bombed completely. It came in bottom place after winning the previous year. And that's a little bit understandable. Everyone wants to give their love to other countries. And the Netherlands just won it. But boy, is Jeangu a good act to follow from Duncan last year. I actually might even enjoy this song more than Arcade from last year. And that's really saying something. This is a really melancholic, soulful, a little bit R&B, but mostly just a soulful pop ballad of a track that is almost too short in my opinion. I would love to hear this song be a little bit longer and kind of stretch out some of those magical moments that it has. Again, it starts out just like so subtle with very little instrumentation, which I would normally find, a little bit too sparse, but it works just perfectly for this delivery, which is a very sort of slow, painful delivery. When I'm sad, I am unreasonable. And he really lets all of those syllables kind of just float off the tongue, just like a little kid mad at the world. When I'm alone, I am defenseless, just like that boy I was, afraid in the dark. Don't take it personally. Don't be offended. Don't mind my mood changing like the weather. God knows I try to hold it all together. Oh, I am getting older, and it ain't what I thought it would be. That's the main chorus here, and oh my goodness, we end up adding more instrumentation with the second verse, some more kind of spacey, ambient, sort of stretched out notes, and I think that really adds an element of or mystery to this track that really elevates it. The sentiment behind this track is one that is all too familiar with me, which is one of intense nostalgia and one of feeling as though, all of the promises and all of the hopes that you had as a child were a little bit unfounded, and that you realize once you finally are that grown up that you actually just wish you could have stayed a kid forever. We all can relate to feeling as a kid like, I can't wait to grow up. And then you reach that age and you just realize that all of these things that were, advertised as the beauties of being an adult as a child really, really suck once you actually have to face the reality of what it is to be a grown up. And it seems that he is talking personally. He's saying, don't take it personally, don't be offended. He's talking to perhaps to a lover who's watching him going through this difficult, sort of existential angst. Don't take this personally. Don't mind my mood swings. I'm just going through it. We all have days where we just are a little bit more down on ourselves. I think particularly with what we're going through right now in particular, There is a hope that is offered towards the bridge, which he sings, "One day I'll find some peace of mind, and then I'll stop being afraid I won't make it through the night. The more I learn, the less I know through every high and every low." So offering that sentiment of, I'm going through growing pains, and I'm going to, no matter what happens, just keep thinking that I am going forward and building forward towards something beautiful and something worthwhile. That my life is, all about this journey, and there is definitely all the need in the world to be hopeful, just despite things maybe looking dark and gloomy in the current moment. I mean, my heart just goes out to this song. It really, it just, in the music video, it shows him sort of in his studio apartment, but it's also a little bit like his childhood bedroom. He's playing the piano. It seems like he's maybe dressed like a bit more like a teenager or someone who's just like in their bedroom, kind of exploring their own creativity. And then it shows him dressed in a suit, heading out of his apartment and heading to a sort of group therapy session where everyone sort of sits and talks about their feelings. I mean, it could look like an AA meeting, but I don't think that's what this is meant to be about. And everyone is just sort of expressing and sharing that pain and sentiment. And he, of course, brings, what he's singing to the circle, and it really stirs and moves everyone around him. And through that community, they all sort of get a smile on their face and feel uplifted. And of course, that adds that, vocal gospel choir element to the song where they all kind of sing and join in together. I could just see this song on stage, having these elaborate kind of, well, not super elaborate, but the props of like a bedroom, like him starting out sort of on like his childhood bed, just sort of like wistfully kind of daydreaming away in the middle of the night, singing the opening verses. And then, he sort of moves from that set to the outside apartment, kind of like street, like it looks like it's raining. And then he comes to the circle of people, and maybe the choir comes and joins around him in a circle, all spotlit. And the night sky is kind of like projected above them. And it's just sort of like this uplifting moment. And the drama is sort of carried through with the staging of these different environments that sort of transition him from being like alone in his apartment to together in this group. And what breaks my heart is that we will never really see that moment come to fruition with this song. We will see Jeangu in 2021, thankfully, but we will not see this song. And I know how some people are saying, they should just plagiarize their own songs, and he'll make a new song, and instead of being called Grow, it'll be called, Growing. And it'll just be a little different, but the same song. It's going to be really hard and interesting at the same time to see, like, what does Jeangu do this second chance he's been given? I mean, you already have knocked it out of the park with a song like this. This is winning material. The only thing that's really against him and his and working really against him is the fact that he, is coming after a winning year. And following Duncan Lawrence, a lot of countries are not going to want to give 12 points, so to speak, to the winning country. It's just standard, and it kind of is understandable. I mean, no one wants the host country to win twice in a row except for the host country. You know what I mean? So we all love the Netherlands, but unfortunately that was working against Jeangu and a country like Switzerland, because I had mentioned in Switzerland in Gion's Tears review how the ballads were sort of taking a back seat to sort of the more up-tempo funky tracks. But I forgot to mention that, even though I still prefer maybe Gion's Tears songs just a little bit more, Grow is definitely also at least second, if not at the top of that stack of ballads. Trust me, we had a ton of ballads. And those were the two songs that would have swept the juries, I am certain of it. And I think the televote would have still given them quite a favorable rating. Like I said, I think Switzerland just had a little bit more of an advantage being, not so much of a recent winner. But Jeangu had just such a soulful delivery to give and such a story to tell on stage. And it just breaks my heart that we're not going to get that. Gosh, I'm just curious to see what he'll do, if he's that versatile of an artist that he's going to switch things up and go more up tempo. Part of me wants him to, and a part of me doesn't want him to, because a part of me is just so like, keep this magic. You can still, just because you're representing the winning country from the previous year does not mean that you just phone it in. You can still really put all of your, artistry and effort behind something. And this song is really proving that. And it's again, like I said, a very artistic song, and full of emotion, and one that is definitely meant for those mellower kind of big jury moments where, you know, everyone's just sort of like eyes glued to the performer, you know, like it's definitely not a bathroom break moment for sure. And so it's bittersweet and breaks my heart to see that this song would be just thrown to the wayside. Justice for all these artists and these amazing songs. I definitely wanted to give and highlight this track. I will be honest with you, I'm now kind of going, I know I keep going back and forth on this. I'm not actually feeling super motivated to review the remaining other 9 or so tracks that I need to cover in individual videos. There's a few I still wanna cover, like, I am gonna film a video for Russia's song because I can't let that song go by without covering it, and maybe 1 or 2 other countries, but that's about it. And if there's one in a particular that you really wanna see me cover, please comment that because that'll, like, help me feel motivated knowing someone actually wants to watch it. But what I do wanna start doing is my ranking videos. So, in the near future, in fact, this week, I'm definitely gonna start coming out with the first video, which is my least favorite 10 songs, which, you know, might be a bit controversial, so I'm a little bit dreading putting that video out, but at the same time, I deserve to put my opinion out there just like everyone else, so be warned, my bottom 10 video might not be everyone's cup of tea. Just I'm looking at most people's rankings right now, and there are a lot of places we overlap, and then there are a few places, and this always happens where, yeah, there's a few songs that I don't know what the hype is about. I don't know what the hype is about. Um, yeah, stay tuned for that. And then, of course, I am going to also put out a top 10 video, and where I discuss and talk about my favorite top 10 songs, maybe also talking about a few honorable mentions. And then I also would like to just put out, and I won't be able to monetize this video because it'll be all copyrighted content. But for those who want to see my official 41 track ranking, I will put out a video where there'll be like 15 to 20-second snippets of all the Eurovision songs played in order. I won't be talking in that video, it'll just show you the ranking, so you'll get to see that, and I'll probably put that video out at the same time as when I put out the top 10, so they'll be put at the same time. But the bottom 10 video will come sooner, and then, like I said, I will cover Russia and probably 1 or 2 other countries. Let me know in the comments which ones you'd probably want to see if I do like maybe like 2 more, you know, individual track reviews. But that's my thoughts on Grow. Let me know in the comments, like I said, your thoughts and what you want to see me cover still. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new. We all really all struggle, some more than others, with the hassles and the pain that comes with being a grown up. You know, and I definitely talked to a few people who don't seem to understand it the same way. But for those who know, you know. Being a child is that sweet spot. It is that sweet spot, and we will forever be chasing nostalgia for childhood, won't we? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all stay safe and healthy out there. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Peace, love, and light. Bye.